There are nights in football that feel less like matches and more like omens. Nights where the stadium lights don't just shine, they burn. Where the grass doesn't just hold the players' footsteps, it records their scars. Where the whistle doesn't simply start a game, it summons something ancient. And on November 29, 2010, the Camp Nou did exactly that. Before a single ball was touched, before a single pass was made, before a single chant echoed through the Catalan night, there was already a sense in the air. Something unsettling, electric, almost divine. People didn't know it yet, but that night, football was about to change. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, not poetically. Literally, two institutions were about to collide in a way the world had never seen before. One would rise to a level close to artistic transcendence, and the other would be dragged into a darkness it had spent years pretending didn't exist. This is not just the story of Barcelona 5, Real Madrid 0. This is the story of how a single match became the spark for the most violent era in modern football history. A story of humiliation, fury, rebirth, and war. To understand the explosion, we need to understand the pressure that built up behind it. Pep Guardiola's Barcelona wasn't just a team. It was an ideology wearing boots. Every touch was a belief. Every pass was a prayer. Every movement was a philosophy unfolding in real time. Xavi, the rhythm. Iniesta, the imagination. Busquets, the balance. Messi, the inevitable. Football had never looked like this before. It wasn't 4-3-3. It wasn't tiki-taka. It was a collective consciousness, a hive mind made of 11 bodies. Barcelona didn't play football. Barcelona choreographed it, and the world bowed. Meanwhile, Real Madrid had everything a football club could possibly want. Money, stars, power, history, everything except peace. The Galacticos era was gone, but the pressure remained. Dozens of signings, coaches arriving and leaving like seasons, superstars fighting for space in a constellation that still didn't produce light. Real Madrid wasn't lost. Real Madrid was haunted. And the only man strong enough to face Barcelona's empire was Jose Mourinho, the special one, the disruptor, the man who had just conquered Europe with Inter by defeating this same Barcelona in the most dramatic fashion possible. He came to Madrid with a mission, not to beat Barcelona, to dethrone Barcelona, to break Barcelona, to end the poetry with cold, merciless reality. But no one knew what was coming. Not the players, not the fans, not even the man himself. The game began. And instantly, something felt wrong. Real Madrid didn't just start poorly. They started drowning. Barcelona circulated the ball with a brutality disguised as beauty. Every pass cut deeper. Every movement disoriented the white shirts. Real Madrid players were running, but they weren't arriving anywhere. They were chasing ghosts. Xavi sliced into the box. A deflection. A loose ball. A moment of chaos. And the ball kissed the net. 1-0. It wasn't the scoreboard that hurt Real Madrid. It was the sensation that Barcelona weren't scoring on them. They were scoring through them, as if Madrid were simply shadows projected on the Camp Nou grass. Minutes later, Pedro doubled the lead. A combination so fast, so clean, so precise, that the camera struggled to follow the ball. 2-0. Inside the stadium, you could feel it. The shock, the disbelief, the fear. Real Madrid realized something terrifying. They weren't losing. They were trapped. This wasn't a bad start. This was an execution. Imagine being in that locker room. Imagine the silence. Imagine the eyes avoiding each other. Imagine the weight, not of defeat, but of inevitability. Mourinho stood there. A man who built his legend on control, on strategy, on forcing football to bend to his will. But that night, football refused to obey him. Barcelona had taken the ball, and with it, they had taken Madrid's confidence, their composure, their identity. And the second half hadn't even started. David Villa, sharp, vicious, ruthless. 3-0. That goal wasn't just a continuation of the humiliation. It was the confirmation. Real Madrid were helpless. Seconds later, Villa again. 4-0. The Camp Nou exploded. Real Madrid imploded. From a bench, you could see players covering their faces. Some screamed in frustration. Others stared blankly into the void. Real Madrid wasn't losing a match. They were losing their soul. Then came Jeffrey. The goal that wasn't a goal. It was a declaration. A signature. 5 goals. 5 knives inserted slowly, carefully, surgically into Real Madrid's history. Barcelona had not defeated a rival. Barcelona had dissected a giant alive in front of the whole world. People thought the 5-0 ended a rivalry. They were wrong. It created one. Inside Real Madrid, something woke up. Something ancient. Something primal. Not anger. Not frustration. Rage. The rage of a wounded titan. Mourinho understood the truth. You can't outplay Barcelona. You can't outpass them. You can't outcreate them. But you can outfight them. And so Real Madrid changed. Not their formation. Not their players. Their nature. The next Clásicos stopped being matches. They became wars. Open, brutal, psychological wars. Fouls that sounded like thunder. Legs crashing. Chests colliding. Benches exploding. Stadiums trembling. Red cards. Shoves. Taunts. Chaos. Guardiola versus Mourinho. The philosopher versus the manipulator. Barcelona versus Madrid. Art versus fury. Spain versus Catalonia. Identity versus identity. The 5-0 didn't humiliate Real Madrid. It weaponized them. The aftermath was larger than football. That night altered careers, redefined coaching philosophies, reshaped tactical evolution, ignited cultural conflict, split a nation into two souls. It turned Messi into a deity. It turned Xavi and Iniesta into immortal poets. It turned Busquets into the silent mastermind. And it turned Mourinho into something else entirely. A villain, a warrior, a symbol of resistance. The next 2 years became the most violent, intense, emotional rivalry modern football has ever witnessed. And it all began with 5 goals. The 5-0 taught us something fundamental. Power is temporary. Dominance is fragile. Giants bleed. And humiliation is often the seed of evolution. Barcelona's masterpiece created the Real Madrid that would later conquer Europe. Pain births glory. Defeat shapes dynasties. Football, like life, is a cycle of destruction and rebirth. That night wasn't about Barcelona's brilliance, though it was endless. It wasn't about Real Madrid's collapse, though it was historic. It was about transformation. It was the night the rivalry became myth. The night football became battlefield. The night giants learned they were mortal. And the night the world learned that a single match can change everything, forever. If stories like this move you, if you love football not just as a sport, but as drama, as history, as emotion, then you're in the right place. Subscribe, leave a like, and join us every week as we dive deep into the games that shaped eras, built legends, and changed football forever. This is not just a channel. This is a journey into the soul of the game.